Hey, I'm Bubba.
And I'm John.
We use our questionable and sometimes traumatic childhood experiences to hopefully become better parents.
We might not succeed,
But listen,
they're fine.
yowzas.
All right, here we are.
And we're back.
We are going back on our word.
Yeah, we do support Robert Kennedy.
Separate from that.
Oh,
Yes, and we also said we were not going to have an episode this week, and here we are.
because our crackpot producer Wyatt said it's going to mess up the algorithm if we don't deliver. So we're doing a mini episode for the fans, for our Patreon.
It seems like you could use that excuse for anything. Like the algorithm, you have to do it.
You got to do it. We're beholden to the gods.
You're going to see us here and next year wearing thongs and MAGA hats and be like the algorithm. Our producer
The
told us
algorithm.
we
And
have to do it.
it'll be that everybody will be like, but the Civil War happened already.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. What are we going to do? So here we are. We're special episode, going to be a little bit shorter this week. Yes?
Shorter, but not lacking depth, because what we're here to talk about is a situation that opened a lot of doors. And that's it. First off, I want to give a trigger warning. We're not talking about self-harm. We're talking about death to wild animals
Yes. So
in relation to our children, because this week,
it happens.
spring has sprung.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, as it sometimes does when you have a house made of glass like me, literally it's a Palm Springs style, mid-century. Find our house, egg it. A bird flew into my daughter's window, and spoiler alert, it's dead. We thought it might make it, though, and it didn't seem like its neck was broken. I pick up plenty of birds, put on
Sure.
some gloves, and it has a floppy neck. This one did not. And so my beautiful wife, Jenna Ogborn, nay Corney, suggested something she had read on the internet, which is if you have a bird that seems like it maybe hit a window, it still could wake up and it might be fine. It could have just been knocked unconscious. So what you do is you put on a pair of gloves, you put it in a shoebox,
Why the gloves?
because they carry a lot of mites and diseases.
Okay. Got it.
And if they're younger, according to lore, if you get your dirty, stinking human paws on it, if it goes tweet, tweet back to its mommy, it'll reject it.
Oh,
I don't know how
okay.
true that is.
Got it.
But so we put it in a shoebox with a sweet little towel underneath it, and the children watched, and we said a word of prayer over it, and we were like, I think it'll be, it'll come back. Just kidding, we didn't pray for the bird. But I thought maybe it'll come back. I felt a little heartbeat. Next day, no dice.
It was still down for the count.
Yeah. But
How did the children take it?
they surprisingly were like, oh, and that was it.
Oh, okay.
They didn't get attached to it, but as I often say about our family, we're surrounded by death. We talk about death a lot. My dad died, and that kind of opened the door. So we're kind of frank about it,
Yeah. I
to
mean,
a fault.
when you have a very close relative that dies, a lot of questions, I imagine, right?
And I answered them all, and I continue to. And again, I probably shouldn't answer them with the degree of frankness that I have, because I did explain to my children that we set my dad's body on fire and what was called a cremation.
You
and
explained
the
that to
difference
the kids?
between that and going to a cemetery. And I
Wow,
took him to
okay.
cemeteries to show him. So now Henry will ask questions of like, are we going to set his body on fire and stuff like that? And as I mentioned to you, he recently played at his friend's house, and the mom discovered Henry lining up a bunch of the kids' toys and asking the boy what he could have when he dies.
Yeah, when the boy dies.
When
what
the boy
toys
dies,
can
he's like,
Henry
what
have?
toys do I get? You know?
Yeah. So the bird died. That is a sad experience.
They've yet to have
Did you bury the bird? Was there a service?
No. And believe me, I thought about doing a live stream of the funeral because it would have been great.
Anything for content.
They took it fine. We had our dog Milo die shortly after my dad died, which is why we have this dumb dog now, because it was a house of sadness. But they're used to death.
Sure.
But at the same time, we had a bee that was sick, and we nursed that thing back to health.
So that's your level right now. You guys are able to nurse small insects back to health.
Same day.
But not birds. You haven't made your way to birds yet.
Bird died. Bee made it. And the bee, by the way, little tip for the listeners, if you have a bee that like this one was on the screen all night and then it was there in the morning, I was like, oh, this guy's dead. He wasn't. He was just barely moving. Give it a little sugar water.
Oh, yeah. That'll
And
do
the
it.
thing woke right up. I put in a little sunshine.
We may do that, because we get a lot of bees in our pool, just little honeybees that happen to land in the pool and are still alive, and we'll take them out and kind of set them on the tile or something to dry out, but a lot of times they don't make it. Maybe if I put them in some sugar water, they would.
Well, they might be already drowning. I don't know if that works.
Well, no, they're still alive when we take them out.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's dead, it's dead. So, but your story did remind me. I saw your Instagram reel, and my son, my 9-year-old, likes to catch lizards. He's very good at it, by the way. He's got a whole technique.
I want to see his technique because I used to catch lizards a lot when I was his age, but the skill has left me because there's a lot in my backyard.
No, I mean, he's explained it to me. It's quite advanced. He'll put one hand in front of the lizard and kind of move it around and distract it. I'm doing cool hand movements for our audio listeners.
Thank you for remembering.
And he'll kind of distract that. He doesn't get too close to scare it away, but it kind of gets it focused on it. And then he gets his other hand behind it and he sneaks up on it and puts his hand down on and grabs the lizard while it's focused on his front hand.
Wow.
So he's very good at it.
Lizard whisperer.
Yeah, that's what we call him. The other day, a few days ago, he was trying to get one he was showing me, and when he was kind of running and trying to grab it, and right when he did, the lizard ran and he stepped on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he picked up his foot. He's pretty light, but he picked up his foot, and I could see
all the guts.
Yeah, the lizard wasn't bad, but it was alive still.
Oh,
it was in
what'd
bad
you do?
shape. So both boys were there, and I said, "Turn around." And they looked at me very serious. They sobered up pretty fast.
And
I
you
said,
peed on it.
I said, "It's gonna die. It's suffering. I need to kill it so it's not suffering, and I don't want you guys to see it."
Do they even understand that?
We've talked before about how we don't want animals to suffer.
I love you pull out a gun.
Yeah. I had a real tiny gun. Just won't die. No, so I said, turn around. I said it again, and they both turned around, and then I just gave it one quick stomp. And it was gone. And the boys were none too happy about it, but they understood. We talked about, hey, when animals are dying, you put them out of their misery because you don't want them to suffer.
And then did they go, what about people? What should we do about drug programs?
Same.
Deferments and
same.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know if I gotten that far with putting. I think I've said to them like, you got to put something out of its misery, but I don't think I've had to actualize it while they're there yet.
Yeah. This was kind of in the
I've
moment.
certainly done it.
Yeah.
Damn, you stomped its ass.
Yeah.
I remember that reminds me. I had this friend Marcus Hunter when I was in 8th grade, and I stayed at his house in Muskegon Heights, which was a pretty rough neighborhood. And you ever stay the night at somebody's house and you have yet to meet their parents?
No.
So you wake up and their parents are there?
That's scary.
Dude, it was the scariest. Because he was my black friend in a real rough neighborhood, and I'd never stayed in the real rough neighborhood. It was in Muskegon Heights, and it was on a street that had a lot of criminal activity and famed criminal activity. So I was already kind of a little nervous, like staying over there because there are a lot of shootings and stuff. And I was sleeping. I woke up at like 6 a.m. I heard his dad screaming at his brother.
Ooh.
And he was like, Deshaun, that lizard's out. If I see that motherfucker, I'm going to stomp his ass.
Wow.
And I was like, ah! And Marcus was like, that's my dad. He's a pastor. And I was like, he's a pastor?
Different church than you went
to.
I mean, you did the voice. I was surprised you did the voice.
Well, he was a pastor.
Oh, that was a pastor voice?
It was a pastor voice.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Also known as a doctor. President Trump.
Oh, okay.
If anybody's followed the news a week before this airs.
Timely.
Anyways, he was threatened to stomp the lizard.
Yeah.
So that's the only lizard stomping reference I have.
Yeah, I have never stomped any other animals to death, thank God. We did have a bit of a rat issue.
Ooh.
As you do when you own a home.
I've killed some rats.
You want to go first, or should I tell mine first?
Boy, John. I mean, I was thinking about killing a rat the other day because we have this. What do you call this wall back here? Just a shared neighbor wall.
The cinder block wall.
What'd you call it when you were doing your wall walking?
We called it the wall.
The wall.
Didn't have a great name for it. I'm sorry. I wish there was a better payoff.
Well,
just the dividing wall.
There's this cinder block dividing wall that the rats will go from neighborhood to neighborhood on.
It's a thoroughfare.
It's a thoroughfare because there's a orange tree that we share with a neighbor, and they'll go over there and they'll get some grub and then shoot across the next place. But the other night I was taking the dog out, and this same big old rat popped out from a piece of lawn furniture out there, and I was like, ah!
Yeah.
Nearly stomped that thing. Thought about Marcus's dad stomping. But one time I had a roommate back when I was living in my nasty single days.
Sure.
And boy, this house that we lived in, it had every biblical plague you could imagine.
Well, this was a single family home or an apartment?
It was a single family home, but it was a friend I worked with who had all these roommates. And so it was like I had a room, he had a room, roommates. Right?
Yeah.
And, it's in the backyard.
I do think, not to derail you, but I do think about when you're young and you've got those roommates, maybe we got to save this for a gotta go section. People like that shouldn't have single family homes. They should be in apartment complexes. We need some rules and regulations.
Well, this was adult roommates. This was like I'd gotten divorced, starting over adult roommates, like roommates in your late 20s, early 30s. So, Trader Joe's people, our lives ain't doing too good.
Yeah.
It ain't doing all right.
Yeah, you're on a limited budget.
You're living in a closet. You're spending your money on the IPAs. You're stealing some cheese.
Sure.
Kind of life. And there's some degenerate fucks that came through that house. And not the landlord, dear friend of mine, Joaquin, but towards the end before he sold that house that he bought with his brothers, and they kind of invested in it for years, and then it was just like they could sell at a high. So, but at the end, boy, this house, they had the skunks going under it.
Sure.
So you're smelling the skunks.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the backyard, they had a retaining wall that had a massive set of beehives back there.
Yep.
It seemed like almost the whole thing was full of bees.
Yep.
So you couldn't even really go far in the backyard. And then we had us some rats.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my friend, like, dude, we got to deal with these rats, man. You own the house. And he was like, I'll get to it. And I think he got a couple traps eventually, but nothing happened. And I was bringing some gals home, trying to get the coos as you do when you're single.
Yeah,
and
just tell her not to walk too far in the backyard.
I couldn't be like, hey, girl, this is my place. Not really. Don't talk to that one. That guy's a drug addict. Don't talk to that one.
If you
meet me in my sequestered nice place,
be
which
careful
is
of
my
the
room.
backyard.
Yeah, don't. You may die.
Don't wander far.
You may die, like an Australian, while you're here.
See, this is a problem. This is what I'm talking about. You guys belong to an apartment complex. You do not have the responsibility of a single family home.
You could not have a 30-year-old dude.
Yeah.
Who's single being like, I am the landlord. I will take care of things. No offense to him.
No, you own that home and you're an adult with children. You get a beehive expert out there to take care of them.
You get married. You're with somebody who's going to hold your feet to the flame. That's what marriage is all about.
You get Steve the animal trapper to get rid of those skunks.
Yep. Yeah, and he couldn't be doing that on his budget and the time that he had.
You guys weren't prepared for this responsibility.
He was working early mornings. I was working late at night, bringing some strange puss home, So I came home one time from a late shift. And boy, John, that rat ran right across that living room. And I said, ah! Yeah. I was like, I'm going to get this rat someday. And then one night I came home. I set my shit on the counter. And if it wasn't happening, there was a rat in the sink.
Oh, Jesus
running around.
Christ.
And it was a deep sink. Oh. It was a weird kitchen sink that was just a little too deep that this rat was going,
trying to get out.
Help me. And it was looking at me for help. And I was like, you're not going to get the help.
No, you are not going to get the solace you're looking for.
You're not going to get the help from me. So you know what I did?
I'm scared to let this continue. What did you do?
I took out a knife.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say the garbage disposal.
And I went, chop, 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 chop.
You chopped the rat
I chopped that rat. And then the knife broke. Then I grabbed another knife. And I went, cha, 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 cha. I killed that rat.
I like to think your roommate came home and there's just a series of broken knives and a dead rat.
You know what? I'll be honest. I did leave everything out.
That is the fuck.
Because I was kind of mad at him for not taking care of the rat problem.
I mean, how many diseases could you have potentially got from this?
How many were in that house before that place could have been condemned?
The diseases just kind of fought each other.
They fought each other. Yeah. Anyways, there was that rat thing. I mean, there was another rat thing. I worked at a restaurant that used to bring a lot of dates to, and we had a rat problem, not on account of the restaurant, but because they were doing a bunch of construction next door, and they were busting these buildings down, and the construction team said, when you do that, all the rats that live in that property spread out. So we're working at this outdoor dining place, nice place, no rat problem, suddenly has one, but they're all outside because it's mostly patio dining. So naturally all these diners think you have a rat problem. And you can't really explain like, no.
It's the neighbor's rat problem.
I know that you're seeing the rats.
Sure.
Like you brought a date in one time and they had that cute Edison bulb string lighting.
So let's level set here a little bit.
Level set.
Brandon worked at this very fancy farm-to-table restaurant in Long Beach. I used to go there on dates before I was married. And
from me to vet.
Yes, that is why I would bring them in. It was kind of a 2 birds, 1 stone situation where it was a great restaurant. And then I could also expose Brandon to these girls I was dating, get his opinion. And
I'd go...
he
right in front of her.
Yeah. And then also it was fun for these dates to meet a friend of mine too, it was just kind of like a nice icebreaker if you're going on dates.
Let's be honest, you wanted to show off all my riz.
I wanted to show off my friend Brandon.
You're like, you like this weird guy? Yeah. There's more where it came from.
I didn't have a big first off, hold on. I need to think about this.
Let's back up. Your wife listens to this.
It's not like I took 30 women to this place. It was probably 2 or 3.
25.
It was probably 2 or 3 different women.
At least 10.
I guess at this restaurant, there were rats. There was a rat problem.
It was a very brief period of time, but ooh, man, it sucked because you'd be like waiting on a table and you go, hey, because it was a farm to table. They even had a garden in the yard to be like, look at our garden where we get our garnishes. And somebody'd be like, hey, is that a rat climbing up on that garden post? And you're like, because there were so many, dude. Because of the construction that they're just like, it was like you're in the rats world, dude. It was like you're in the Muppets, in a Muppets movie where they cut to Ratso's life, and there's just like all the rats in the kitchen working. You're like, yeah, man, I can't do anything about it right now. And one time you came in on a date and you're talking to me, and I was chatting with the gal, kind of sizing her up, but being nice. And as I'm talking to her, I glance up, and there's a rat just trotting along the string like fucking Fievel Goes West with this little knapsack, and I'm just like,
the little hobo sack.
Don't look up. Make
a joke, keep their attention.
So at the end of the night, dude, we eventually we got all hands on deck with all these different rat traps and stuff. And since the place didn't have a real manager on hand, I had to dispose of these rats stuck to the glue traps. And since they were alive, I couldn't just put them in a bag and have them suffer catching their breath. So I had to do the dignity thing. I put them in a bag, take a cinder block, plop.
Yep. That's rough, man.
And I was like, I felt like Danny Glover, I'm too old for this shit, but maybe a little more like, I'm too gay for this shit.
I'm too sensitive for this.
I'm too classy for this shit.
Yeah, I was not raised.
Like working on, making these big checks for these tables, fancy food, and then at the end of the night I got the rubber gloves on.
Yeah, maybe it was I don't get paid enough for this shit.
I think it was I don't get paid enough. / this is not my job.
This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, there we go.
Right.
This is not what I signed up for.
I am a server. I am a soft fancy boy server at this farm to table restaurant.
These hands are soft.
I am not an exterminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have that hillbilly past, so I think I could have.
That's why they chose you.
That's why they chose
all the servers.
me.
They were like, you got something.
They saw it. I was like, like how horrible people excuse sexual assault, and they'll be like, well, she was dressed skanky or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, he read hillbilly.
He did
enough, and he bragged of his hillbilly past enough that we were like, you can kill rats.
He's probably done it before.
We don't have to pay someone separate to do this.
Come on. You've done this before.
You've done it. You have it in you, you sicko. And I was like, I guess I do.
So when we first bought our house, I didn't really have much experience with rats. And then we realized we had a little bit of a problem in the backyard. Nothing crazy, but they were happening. So we set up some rat traps. We didn't know, but they weren't powerful enough.
Oh my God.
And so
what do you mean powerful enough?
I'll explain, unfortunately.
They have these tiny little bullets and they're not enough to break the skin.
So we caught a rat and we go, oh, we heard it in the backyard. Catherine and I, we go back there. It's caught in this trap, but it didn't kill it. You know,
is the rat all drunk and fat
trap.
And he's like, fuck you.
And I kind of, this is a bit of a shameful experience for me.
Yeah.
I kind of froze a little bit where I was going, I don't really know what to do here. I don't have a lot of experience killing rats and dealing with rat traps.
Did you look at your wife? You go, you look like you do.
I set up this trap and she kind of like broke into action. She grabbed a shovel. And
oh my God, I love this.
She took care of the rat. And once she did that, I was very proud of her. She did the Lord's work.
So she took the shovel and chopped it in half.
Well, I don't want to really get into that.
I do. This is what we're talking about.
She killed the rat with the shovel.
Did she slam it down or did she chop it down?
Yes, she slammed it down.
Okay.
And it took care of it.
Okay.
All right.
As far as you know.
No, I was there. I saw. And then I disposed of it. But after that, I said, never again. This will never happen again.
I'll never let my wife show me up.
Ever again. So I built a better rat trap, as they say. I went on the internet and I said, technology is the solution. And I found this YouTube channel of this guy that goes, hey, everybody, this is how you kill rats. All right.
What's his name?
I will look him up. I'm sorry. I don't know his name off the top of my head. And
Randy Rat.
And he's got this whole series of videos where people follow. This guy's got hundreds of thousands of followers.
He's yet to get rid of his rat problem.
No, he gets rid of other people, man. This guy's an exterminator, right?
Okay. He's like, they're fucking back, guys.
This is the worst guy to
I'm
get advice
sure
from.
that this next one is Wile E. Coyote.
Version 75. No, so
it's from Acme.
And he shows, hey, you build this wood box and you put up multiple rat traps next to each other.
Okay.
You put little nails in them so they can't get out.
Wow. And they have to watch each other die?
No, you put dividers up between the walls so they can't see.
He watched the movie Saw.
Yeah, and then he took his learnings. So I followed his instructions and built this better rat trap, and it worked quite well.
Wow.
I deployed it in the backyard. It started snapping up rats. Much better job.
We got to add some pictures or video of this rat trap. If not on the episode, we will put it on the socials because it's a pretty great reveal.
And we will not show, don't worry, we're not going to show pictures or videos of animals dying, but I will show you the trap.
I was going to add a bunch of pictures of dead animals
security
at the end
camera
of the video.
footage.
But go ahead.
So that was our experience with the rat traps and the rats in the backyard.
And you still have this rat trap just in case?
I've loaned it out now to my in-laws.
Oh.
They had a rat problem. I loaned it to them. They said, we need your fancy rat trap.
Any news?
Yeah, they caught some rats with it.
Wow. And then does it kill them?
It does. Very quickly.
Like
it's a snap. Yeah, it's a ye old victory snap.
Because that's the thing with the glue thing was like when the people, they go, yeah, we got all these rat traps were set. And I go, oh, good.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, they don't kill them.
Now what do you do with it?
I think, now that I think about it, going back to my killing with all those rats at the restaurant, maybe, and I could fact check this with the alcoholic that I used to work with, that they maybe were going to come back and collect/kill the rats in the morning. But by the time we were closing the restaurant, you're hearing them squeaking and they're like crawling over to you on the trap, like, please, mister, help. Yeah. And I'm like trying to close down the restaurant. I'm like, I can't leave this fucking guy all night long to die a slow death and wait for the Grim Reaper in the morning.
That's rough. I have heard the best thing to do, I think glue traps are fairly inhumane. I don't think, so things that I'm describing where it just kills them fast is the way to go.
Yeah.
But I have heard with those traps, I think the most humane thing to do is to put them in a bucket of water and drown them.
Oh. Hence the drowned rat.
Yeah. Boy,
it?
This is a real bummer of an episode, huh?
Well,
special episode for y'all.
A very special episode. I mean, the thing is, the rats, they're cute. Some.
Yeah.
Possums aren't, but they're like nice animals.
We had a possum, also had a possum problem in our backyard.
But you can't kill a possum.
We did not kill the possums.
Yeah.
But we had a very elaborate hot tub in our backyard when we bought our house.
Yeah.
And it had become home for a possum family. And
like they'd play in the hot tub?
They, yeah, it was like dogs playing poker.
Yeah.
Right? They would sit in the hot tub and relax. No, they got into all the plumbing of it and they kind of lived throughout the whole thing.
Wow.
And we were sitting in the backyard once and we just saw a possum pop its little head out of one of the jets.
Takes a hit.
And then it scurried across the yard. We tried traps. We couldn't really get rid of them. Eventually, we demoed out the hot tub, and the possums moved to a new home.
Yeah, I heard that I don't know how true it is, that they kind of have to be like relocated.
Yes.
Because they're a marsupial.
I did catch a smaller, juvenile, and I took it to the park and released it.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I like possums. They're ugly as fuck, but they are nice. And they play dead.
Yeah, and I think they get rid of roaches and stuff. I think they're a good animal to have around.
Look them up. Give them a call. There's plenty of Instagram accounts on possums and how good they are for the environment. I kind of feel that way about beavers, but beavers are very cute, and I love beavers.
They are. They don't have the tail. They don't have the rat tail. That's the thing. That's what gives possums a bad name.
But it's also their ugly fucking face.
Yeah.
Because their face kind of looks like those labubus. Like it's like there's no hair on the face, but there's hair all around it, and then they kind of have that pointy nose and the inset kind of skeleton eyes that they're not very cute. Beavers are adorable.
Beavers are very cute.
They're so cute. There's so many beaver accounts I follow in times like these when I need to reset my algorithm. You know how disgusting my Instagram algorithm is, John.
I can't even stand it.
Yeah, so I guess what I wonder is with all this killing we're talking about,
yes,
what do we do? What are we teaching our children? Because you've had your son, you said he lost a praying mantis recently.
Yeah, so we were on
because I don't want to have my kids get any pets besides these dogs. I don't want to deal with the lizard, the pet lizards, the pet snakes, the pet hamsters, all those things. It's like I went through this run of things as a child, and it's like nothing but death and sadness with the goldfish and all that.
Yeah, any animals that are not, the traditional dog, cat, things that we have, good veterinary care set up for, they're all kind of, I don't know what the right word is. It's very transient. These animals don't last long. Lizards,
and there's
snakes.
So many ways they can die. I don't think your kids are ever going to grow up. Like my wife, it was very important. She's like, I couldn't have a dog growing up. Nobody grows up and goes, my dad never let me get a chameleon.
Yeah.
I think we can skip that phase.
They're all
leave it for the weird adults.
My dad
Tiger
never
King
let me have a ball python.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, my ex, her kid had a python. I think it was a python, and we had to feed it live mice.
Yeah,
and you had to hold it all the time, or it'd bite you. I'd get bit by this fucker all the time.
Especially if you're going to go on vacations. You have a dog, a cat. You can take it and board it, or you can have a friend come over.
Yeah.
You have a fucking ball python. What are you doing?
A lizard. Yeah.
Hey, can you come over and feed live rodents to my pet?
Yeah, I fed people's fish.
Yeah.
But to be like, can you feed crickets to my praying mantis and my lizard? You make sure he doesn't have a skin infection. Like, can you feed this deadly animal?
So we'll close it on this. We were on vacation last week, and my son has a praying mantis, and it had to be fed. And so I had to drive back. It was an hour drive each way, basically.
By the way, how come you didn't ask me to do it?
I wasn't going to ask anybody to go feed this thing live crickets.
Dude,
that's to my point.
Okay, for the record, I'd be happy to feed live
next
crickets.
time.
My son would have loved to feed your son's
next
thing.
time I'll take you up on this.
So it's your fault this thing died. So go ahead.
I walk in, open up the crate, go to feed it these little crickets. Stiff as a board. It's dead.
Like it unalived itself.
What is unalived?
Like kill. You don't know what unalived is.
I know. I mean, it sounds
it's like killed itself. You can't say suicide on TikTok, so people say unalived.
You can't say suicide?
It flags. It gets flagged if you say suicide, so people say unalived.
Oh.
You're not on the internet enough, John.
I don't think it unalived or suicided itself.
I'm tired of maxing.
I don't know
you. My cortisols are spiking, John.
I understand cortisol out of everything you just said. Okay. No, I don't think it killed itself.
You got to lock in, John.
No, I'm sorry. Fuck. All right. I'll work on it. Okay.
I'm like, fuck.
Let's get through this story.
Okay.
So I released the crickets into the wild.
Yeah.
So they could live their Jiminy Cricket lives. They're probably very happy.
Hanging out with the rats from my old restaurant days.
Totally. Yeah. Live it up, guys. Yeah. Second chance at life. And
did the thought cross your mind to just simply replace this praying mantis with another one at the pet store?
I'm ashamed to to admit that, yes, it did.
That's the first thing I would have done.
But if it was a goldfish, maybe. But to find a praying mantis that's the exact species, I would have had to end up at some weird pet store.
Dude, is I would have fucked with them and left the dead body and got another one in there. And then there would have been some real splaining to do.
Yeah.
But you could have been like, it was a murder. But how? Your kid would have loved this, dude.
Like, this one came in and killed it.
Yeah, he would have loved it with his fucking mystery brain. He would have, dude. Your kid would have been Murder, She Wrote all over this shit.
I should have called you.
You should have called me so many times
Brandon,
in the course of the story.
What should I do?
Yeah.
So instead,
because he'd be like, how did the other one get in? What did they fight over? Did this one give birth and the other one died? Is it a new skin? So many ideas. So many story options for this sitcom.
God damn it. I really dropped the ball on this.
Yeah. So anyways, you go back hat in hand.
I do. And they're in bed, thank God, when I get back.
And you wake them up and you say, she didn't make it.
We wait till the next morning. And in the morning, we had to break it to him. And he was bummed. But we did just kind of explain, this is the second praying mantis that's died on us.
And then you said, so obviously you can't be trusted with living things.
We said, maybe insects aren't for us. They seem a little finicky. They seem a little sensitive. Maybe we can move to a different type of animal.
Maybe some tough guy animals.
Yeah. So now he says he wants a snake.
Like a fucking snake.
And I said, absolutely not.
Dude, snakes are not tough. They can kill, sure, but they are such a list of diseases and things that can go wrong.
Yeah. I don't want to end up at some weird fucking black market vet that works on animals that are not dogs and cats. You end up some weird environments.
All I can think of is like a wet market and COVID. When people who have lizards, they're like, you want to hold I go, no.
Weird reptiles, right?
Reptiles are not meant. They're in the Bible for a reason. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, you can feel it. Next.
All right, so that was a story.
It's like cats to me. Jennifer Lawrence, a fantastic actress and comedian, once said on her amazing late night appearances, cats are not for me. They're from the underworld. You know, I'm not a cat person. I got nothing against him. All you cat people, I'm happy for you.
Me too.
Vote for Kamala. Okay?
I can't stand...
I'm just kidding.
You make fun of me as being, fastidious and meticulous.
Every day.
All of these things are true.
Behind your back a lot, too.
Yes. However, I feel like I can handle dogs quite well, probably because I was raised with having dogs, and we have a dog now, and it's going well.
Doesn't seem like it from here, but go ahead.
Fair enough. But where your point is proven with me is with cats. I cannot stand the fucking hair. I cannot stand how they destroy furniture. Mm-hmm. I hate litter boxes.
Here's the thing, though. The two of the three of those was you had a husky. The hair and the destroying furniture. That fucking dog you had ripped through a goddamn couch and a door and a gate and a wall.
Lesson learned.
Hair everywhere.
Yeah.
They had a picture of your face up at Costco for the amount of times you had to return vacuum cleaners that got broken.
And now I have a hypoallergenic dog that doesn't shed.
Well, at least we learned.
We've learned our lesson.
Is that dog still alive, by the way?
It is, yeah.
As far as we know.
He lives with a relative.
Dude, sub-story we need to talk about on the pods with a special episode is your dog getting hit by a car and totaling the car, but the dog was fine, and you ended up on a court TV show.
That's a time. This is a mini episode, some mini-sode here.
You know what? We're going to have an extra mini episode for the Patreon, and it's going to be just that because it's a doozer, guys.
That is a story, and Brandon accompanied me. Yes. Another time. We will have to do that's a whole episode.
Our friendship runs deep as a river.
All right. So, I don't know. You think that's good for our mini-sode here?
I think so. I think we learned a lot. Talk to your kids about death. Stomp animals in front of your children.
I don't think there's a moral.
Oh, wait. Don't do that.
I don't think there's a moral to this episode. This was a series of anecdotes.
Series of unfortunate events, as they say. Lemony Snicket. But, question, though. Did you throw your rats in the garbage?
Yes.
That's what I did with the bird, and that was a piece of advice because I asked my veterinary friend, who is our veterinarian, if I should bury the bird, and she said, not if you have a dog or if you think an animal's going to dig it up. If you live somewhere more rural, you can dig a deeper hole, but around here, not so much that I want to hit a gas pipeline, but my dog definitely will dig up that bird.
Oh, yeah.
The best thing to do is you double bag it, so I double bagged it with a biodegradable poop bag. And a second one, used rubber gloves, disposed of it in the trash, saluted the bird. I'm sorry for your loss, but on he goes to his journey.
a better time.
And
okay.
yeah, if you do get pets, don't get, nothing against our massive fan of reptile owners here, but I would not get reptiles if I had little kids. There's too much that can go wrong. But in the future, John, you can't ask me to feed a small animal crickets.
Okay, I will do that.
But if your kid gets a boa constrictor or python, I ain't going over there holding that thing.
No, and I say live and let live. If you want to have boa constrictors and bearded dragons, live your life. I hope you have good friends to help you out when you go on vacation.
And chances are you're white trash and you're poor. But go ahead. I'm just kidding.
All right.
But all the people I knew who did have those lizards and snakes, there was a correlation.
There is a pattern.
There's a correlation.
Not all, but many.
But all of them.
All right, guys. We will.
That's it for our mini episode. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, everyone.
Listen They're Fine is produced and edited by Wyatt Gray. Original music by John Ahern. John's Instagram is @JohnAhernMusic.
You can find Bubba's Inappropriate Parenting Instagram, blah, 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 Inappropriate Parenting on Instagram @Bubba Ogborn. You can find our recommendations linked in the show notes.
If you have feedback or topic suggestions, our show email is listenthey'refine@gmail.com, and you can find us on Instagram @listenthey'refine.
If you made it this far without calling Child Protective Services, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps other questionable parents find us.
Share the chaos, tell a friend, tell your therapist, tell anyone who needs to feel better about their parenting choices.
Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Yeah!
Sorry for all the animal death.
It's your fault.